This video is going to be showing you how to get the new exotic Titan gauntlets, which is the no backup plans, which was a Destiny 1 exotic now brought forward. I'll just show you the gauntlets first of all. This video isn't going to be discussing how they work. I'll briefly show you them, what the perk is, but it's more to show you how to get them. But the perk says Force Multiplier. When you have full melee energy, Shotgun Final Blows activate your defensive strike and consume your melee energy. Shotgun Final Blows also give you melee energy. So this is a shotgun-centric setup when you're using this. I'm not going to tell you how useful it is right now. I'm just showing you what they are and what they look like. Okay? So how to get them? Well, the Lost Sector as of today, the first reset of Season of the Lost, Gauntlets happens to be up. I mean, you can get it day one. Obviously, it's going to be quite difficult for people because you've only got until this reset. Like after this daily reset, it'll switch to probably boots and helmet. I'm not 100% though. I'm not 100% when it will swap to, but it may well swap out. So this is going to be quite difficult for people because this is 1350 in power. Day one, you know, you might be only 1320. So this is going to be showing you how to do it underpowered as on a Titan. So the modifiers are Champion's Barrier Overload. The burn is arc damage is increased by 50% by the enemy and by you. Shields are arc and void. Modifiers are shock and famine, so there's less ammo when we're doing this. However, there's infinite ammo, so you have infinite ammo on primaries, so famine doesn't affect that. Thankfully, it will, however, affect specials and heavies, which will take that into account. So this weapon setup is going to be similar. If you've seen the walk run, it's very similar to that, but just doing it on a Titan. But this is for Titan mains. So we're using Quarter Missile, Thundercrash Titan, Pulse Grenade, Town Barricade. Pair that with the Cuirass of the Fallen Star, Chestplate, which increases the Thundercrash Super. So does the Modifier, which is an extra 50%. So this super is going to be able to one-shot champions, even underpowered, and things like that. So it's well worth putting on. Our armor mods are simple. They're just a Lucent blade setup with Charge of Light mods. A shield break charge to get Charge of Light. A Supercharged mod for 2 additional stacks, so we can get ×4 Charge of Light. That's 4 stacks of Lucent blade. And a Bio Auto Rifle, Overload Bow. We've got Radiant Light on for that plus 20 strength. I quite like having a little bit of strength boost on this class. You can get super energy from using the melee ability. So that's why I got Radiant Light on. Lucent Blade, as I said. Arc damage resistance, Concussive Dampener for resistance values in this. Double enhanced sword scavenger with double sword ammo finder, so we don't run out of sword ammo because it's really important for the run. Passive guard, so that we get a resistance buff while our sword is readied. So useful when you're underleveled. Make sure you're using it if you're going to use this setup. And that's all there is to the run. Biting Wings, we're using a kinetic bow, so that's our overload. The number is an arc auto rifle, very good, exceptional. Has high caliber rounds, amazing for content like this. And as I said, the Lament exotic sword. That's the setup, that's what we've got on. So similar approach to the walk run, we'll be playing from this balcony here. We'll take out the first harpy to our right, activate our multi-kill clip. Obviously it depends what weapon you use and what have you. It doesn't matter if you don't have a god roll, as long as you've got a good arc auto rifle that you like using, then you can go ahead and use it. Or as I said, you can use an arc overload bow with a kinetic auto. Your choice, it's up to yourself. Doesn't really matter. Just know that whatever his arc is going to get the buff. So my auto rifle here is getting a 50% damage up because it's arc, so it's exceptional. And there's a lot of arc shields in this, so it's pretty decent for what it does. So just going to take out a couple of the harpies first. We're trying to aggro this Hydra. If you notice, I do that by standing a little closer. If I stand back in the back of the room, the Hydra will back all the way back. And the thing with that is, you have to go through more waves of adds to get more HP off the Hydra. Whereas what I done there is aggroed the Hydra so he would push me before all the ads spawned in, then use Lament. That gets him near one shot. If you do that, it means the Hydra won't spawn up now until the final room. Or the room before the boss room, sorry. So that's decent. It means he's out of our hair. It means we can just deal with all the ads, which is easy enough. Be very careful of the two hobgoblin snipers at the back of the room. If they both hit you, it's a wipe, especially if you're at my power level, below 1330. Higher than that, you might not have as much problems. Just be very careful of that. Now, there's no void. We have no void, obviously it's void shields, but Lament plus Lucent Blade is enough to take down an unmatched shield easily. And there is only total 2 void shields in the whole thing, so you really don't need to. If you're using this sort of setup, you don't really need to opt for void. We'll bait out the Overlord Minotaur first. Get one stun with the bow. I know you can kill the Overlord Minotaurs with the bow alone, but obviously we don't really need to do that because we've got Lament on and what have you. But the Lucent Blade really helps out. It enables you to solo one-phase these champions. If you didn't have Lucent Blade on, you're not going to do that. You're going to struggle. So if you are going to do this sort of power level, you really need the high energy fire type setups or the Lucent Blade setups to really make up for your damage that you're losing because of your power. Is essentially what I'm doing. So with this room, the further you push up, the more ad spawns that will spawn in. But what we want to do is take the Hydra out first before we spawn in the rest of the ads. It's isolating the Hydra from the ads. Hydra's down. Then we want to push up to the very tip of those stairs and then go all the way back. That will spawn in 2 waves of ads. It'll spawn in a Minotaur, a couple of goblins, and then it'll spawn in the Rivens. The threat is the Rivens, by all means. So first of all, what we want to do is try and take out the Void Minotaur. We're getting hit a lot, but obviously we've got our sword there. We retreat. You just got to be careful on that, of course. But this is your safe zone. If you die on the run, it doesn't matter. You don't need flawless. You will still get it. On this particular run that I'm doing, I didn't get no backup plans. I ended up getting on the run before this. And on this particular run, I didn't. So, you know, you might not get it first go. It might take 2 or 3 goes before you get the gauntlets. And also it depends on what other exotics have you got. If you've got every single exotic, there's a high chance you'll get the new exotic. That's how it works. Because it's a tick list. So the lost sector, how these lost sectors work is it'll prioritize any exotics you do not have. That's your first drop. If the game sees that you've got every exotic armor-wise, it will just give you a random rolled gauntlet, boots, whatever it might be for that day. A random rolled one may likely be high stats, or could not be at the same time. That's just how this works. So it's a tick list first, and I've got something I haven't got, which was no backup plan, so I ended up getting it the run before this. So there's a pretty high chance of you getting it, but it might not be first go, that's what I'm saying. The second Riven, we can take him from here. I supered the first one, just because it's such a threat. They can literally 2-tap you with their void attack below 1330, so use your Overlord bow on them rather than the auto rifle, because a sustained weapon isn't going to work as well for you against his Rivens. With the bow you can overload them, which means they do less damage to you, and you can sort of stun lock them in a sense. You're going to see right here, you can sort of stun lock the Rivens on the stairs and do, you know, sort of free damage and stay safe. We'll finish the Riven off with a pulse nade, because it does a lot of damage to them. And now we've just got a couple of extra goblins that have spawned in. They will hug the champions. Before we deal with any champions, like you can see I'm getting hit here. I'm pretty weak, so if I was to attempt to break a shield with my auto from back here while fighting goblins and champions, I'm just going to die. I'm going to take 2 or 3 shots off the boomer, not the boomer, but the void gun that they have. I'm going to die. So take the goblins first, and then you want to sort of wait to see what the barriers do. Sometimes they'll back up to the exit. Sometimes one may stay on the stairs. They sort of separate up. You've got to sort of see where they're going to go to. But this stair location is really good, as you can sort of stun them and they can't hit you. We're going to prime the champions because we've got no charge of light notice. I've run out. We'll get charge of light back though. We can refarm that up at the boss. So essentially we can't one phase champions. Okay, so we're going to have to do it in 1 or 2 phases. Which is fine, as long as we're getting finishable. That's fine. That's pretty much easy with that, and then we're going to be close to a super to do damage to the boss. We're going to use our melee ability for some super energy. When you do that though, equip your sword and run out of the room so that you've got passive guard active. There's no way to tell you that passive guard is active, but it is active when you ready the sword. You'll notice it. You'll notice with how tanky you are. Now when the boss first spawn in, we know this, that there's going to be an initial set of odds, harpies, goblins. Take those out first, they'll give you super. You can take them back safely up these stairs, like I did on my warlock run, same thing. Once we've got our super though, we're just going to one-shot the boss. Because of the modifiers you can do that, plus Thundercrash is really strong. So we one-shot the boss, and that means there's just one more wave of odds and the 2 champions. Same idea always is we isolate, enemies from different enemies. So we're isolating the champions. We'll do the champions at the very end because they hit so hard. We'll take the odds. Again, we can just come back here. You can go behind that sort of block that was in front of me. Use your barricades if you're weak, but it's pretty safe. You can deal with everything from range. There's nothing difficult about it. And I'm just showing people how to do this like the day one so that they get the new exotics day one, because we don't know how many more resets it's going to be until it's this rotation again. It might be an easier rotation. 2 days time it might be on legend. The gauntlets, that is. The hunter doesn't have gauntlets, the hunter has boots. So boots could be probably going to be the next reset. So I'll probably cover that as well, because those sound very interesting. To be honest, they sound the most interesting out of the exotics. However, the no backup plans sound interesting with a shotgun build, but that's not going to be viable right now in GMs. So, it's where to use that. Right now we're just waiting to see where the champions are sort of going. They are starting to spread out. So I'll take one on the left. I primed the champion first with light swings, then went for the charge attack. It's just more consistent that way. Just so that you don't get your timing all wrong with the shield breaks. Then there's the final champion. We use a pulse nade to help. First stun. Then finish off with the Lament. Pretty easy, as you can see. I've got loads of ammo left. I didn't get no backup plans on this run, but that's how you would get the gauntlets. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.